Then we started seeing the proliferation of the spyware and the adware and these fake rogue programs that now, in fact, there are Trojan downloaders. If you get one of those, what it's going to do is go out and fetch all that stuff and put it on your machine so that the guy who's Trojan to the computer can get a commission for downloading all of this software. And they don't care how much they put on there. So that's where you see these rundown systems. Traditionally, we had antivirus software, and it just handled the viruses, worms, some Trojans. We had anti-Trojan software, and there are still some out there. And then we had anti-spyware, or anti-adware. And they were very specialized. Well, now we're seeing, for several years now, these growing together. The antivirus companies saw where their customers had a need to be protected from the spyware.
Like the security suite.
Yeah, and the security, like our company, is now seeing a need. Gee, we got to cover the viruses, worms, and Trojans. So we just incorporated on our last release an antivirus engine. So we're seeing more and more these the meld into one broad term, malware, to pretty much cover everything that you might be faced with out there. And they often come together. If you've got a Trojan, odds are they're using it to turn, add your computer to their botnet and control it, or download adware, spyware they can make a commission on, make money off of you. Steal data. We have data stealers now, and the phishing schemes. So we're finding that it's covering a very broad area, and that's where you get the term malware. Because most people think, I'm infected, I have a virus. Well, a virus is self-replicating, meaning it's going to have routines included just to spread itself and not always do harm or have a payload. But your worms and Trojans will often have a payload that these days is going to try to get some money off of you, whether it be loading up your machine with adware spyware or stealing data. So you have the identity theft situation that you have to deal with. One of the things now being talked about, and that we're seeing more and more of, is if you do get, it's important to find out what your machine's infected with and get some information on it. If it is a password stealer, if it is a data stealer, if it's a keylogger, and this has been going on for a while, if there's a rootkit involved, especially. A rootkit is stealth malware. It hides the payload, all the dirty goings on behind the scenes. And it hides from Windows. So there's no telling. This guy is in your computer, he owns your computer, and you don't even know it. There's no telling what he's done in there. And many times, these malware programs are often programmed to lower your security. And they go into the Windows registry and make changes in all these obscure areas that put their sites in the trusted zone, that many times they will block your antivirus software from working or block it from updating. We frequently see where an infected computer can't get updates to our program because they have blocked our update site. They can stop tools from working, like Task Manager no longer works. You no longer can get into your control panel, so you're just like... In those types of cases where someone has gotten into your system and possibly made changes to it, the usual recommendation is there's no way we can know what's going to do. And your best option to back up your data, have good backups, and reformat, reinstall. It's the only way you can be sure you've got a trusted machine again. So we can try to clean as best we can, but if you've got one of the heavies on there, yes.
Let's just say you notice something strange, be it minor or major, and you decide, I want to know if I've got one of these on there. What's the best way to check that?
Well, one of the first things, and I do have some steps again in this guide, but one of the things I tell people is make use of the online AV scanners. If something funny's going on and your AV isn't yakking at you, you want to be sure, get a second opinion. Those things are free, and they're very good, and I've given you some good ones. Go with the major companies. Again, don't just go what you find on Google. Use my list or go to some security forums or search. You know, they have recommendations. But it's going to be a major antivirus company.
So if a rootkit's got your computer and is blocking your AV from seeing it, an external one will be able to see it?
Sometimes rootkits are very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even list rootkit tools because normally, I mean, for one, you have to be somewhat of an expert to interpret it, so you're going to have to get someone to help you interpret it. And number two, if you suspect you have a rootkit and the signs are there, you know, don't take a chance with your system. Some people think it's a real challenge they get a system loaded up with all this malware and it's been running for 3 months, and they give it to a friend and it's a challenge. I want to clean this computer. Yeah, you can clean all the files off of there. You can scrape them off all kinds of different ways. But the fact is, you don't know if it made any system changes.
So if you do a format including install, you get rid of the rootkit?
Yeah, and it's real important people don't make backups. They have important stuff on their computers. They should be doing that anyway because it's, as I tell people, it's a machine. You could have a hardware failure and lose your data. Or act of God. Yes.
You know, something I would say to that, something I've always been in the habit of is whenever I've gotten a computer, I just immediately format the drive and create extra partitions because I find that it's always a lot easier if you have a separate system partition and you have a data partition, because then it's very, very easy that you know your data is automatically backed up and you just format the system drive per partition.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about bothering with your data.
And that's great, you're backing up your data. And there are software programs that will do that for you.
I just don't know why most people don't do that, because I think, you know, it's really a bad practice to have one single partition that has everything on it. I think that's such a horrible idea.
Most people don't even know.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think even the people that manufacture the systems, I wish they even did that
Good point.
as a best practice.
So couldn't that software just scan, look how many drives you have, and go through each drive and infect the files? It doesn't matter.
Well, that wouldn't matter at that point, because
Yeah,
even if the other partition was infected, nothing is running on it. It's your system, because a virus doesn't do anything unless it's actually running. If it's just sitting there dormant, it's not really doing anything at all. So.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought that if it loads itself onto another file and then when you rebuild your system,
You're going to put it back on.
reactivate it, and then it would.
Only if you run it.
Yeah, I have a disk with them on it still.
Yeah, you want to scan.
The only time
scan
it'll
that
run
data
is if you
out
copy the
before
data.
you put it on the clean.
But you can run the disk and it's safe.
That happened to me, the same situation.
Well, the thing would be to scan the other partitions, obviously, but
Yeah.
the thing is, it's just making sure that the actual operating system is running clean.
What I can't believe they don't do is do better, implement a better recovery system. When someone brings me a PC like that, I don't even try to disinfect. I rebuild it for them, and then I install something like True Image, and I create basically a perfect image of the clean install. And I say, if anything ever goes wrong again, push this button. And it just
So
basically...
y'all heard it here, John. We'll fix your PC.
But you know, reinstalling, especially actually service packs, that can take, even with a cable internet connection, 3 or 4 hours to get everything tweaked the way you want.
Yeah,
I've seen
minimum.
people spend 3 weeks trying to clean a computer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Have you ever used the, what's that Microsoft product that they use in like schools and libraries that, I forget the name offhand, but it basically puts the system back exactly the way it was before you log on to the system?
Yeah,
I don't-
I can't remember the name of it either, but it's on the Microsoft site.